I'm sitting on the balcony of my penthouse apartment, staring at the sunrise over the city skyline. The coffee in my hand is warm, the silence is peaceful, and my phone, well, my phone hasn't stopped vibrating for the last 3 hours. I have 23 missed calls from my Aunt Linda, 14 from my Uncle Jerry, and a stream of text messages from my cousins that range from OMG congrats to I can't believe you lied to us to, you guessed it, hey, I have this business idea I've been working on. They're panicking. They're backpedaling. Reality is hitting them like a freight train. Why? Because just yesterday, at Thanksgiving dinner, they treated me like the family failure. They mocked my clothes. They offered me charity. They sat there and lectured me about responsibility and getting a real job. And I just sat there, ate my dry turkey, and nodded. I didn't say a word. I didn't tell them that the little computer project they made fun of just sold for 8 figures. I didn't tell them I was retiring at 29. I let them dig their own graves. But before I tell you about the absolute chaos unfolding on my phone right now and the look on my cousin's face when the truth finally came out, let me take you back to where this all started. Growing up, I was always the black sheep of the family. My family is obsessed with status. Image is everything to them. My father is a corporate lawyer, my uncles are in finance, and my cousins were groomed from birth to be Ivy League success stories. And then there was me. I wasn't bad at school, I just didn't care about the things they cared about. While my cousin Brad, the golden child, was captain of the debate team and interning at Goldman Sachs, I was in my room, tearing apart computers and learning to code. To my family, this wasn't a hobby, it was a waste of time. I remember my Uncle Jerry telling me at a barbecue when I was 16, "You can't play video games forever, kid. You need to get serious about your future, like Brad." I tried to explain I was building software, not playing games, but his eyes just glazed over. He patted my shoulder with that condescending pity and walked away. The breaking point happened when I was 20. I was in my sophomore year of college, studying business like they wanted me to. I was miserable. I was failing classes because I was spending all my time working on a side project, a cybersecurity tool that I knew had potential. So I did the unthinkable. I dropped out. When I told my parents, the explosion was nuclear. My dad looked at me with veins bulging in his neck and said, "If you leave school, don't expect a dime from us. You are throwing your life away." My extended family? They loved it. It gave them a designated failure to point at. For 7 years, I was the cautionary tale. Don't end up like my name, they'd tell the younger kids. He had so much potential and now look at him. And to be fair, for the first 3 years, it did look bad. I was living in a studio apartment the size of a shoebox. I was eating instant noodles. I missed family events because I couldn't afford the flight or because I was coding for 20 hours straight. But they didn't see the work. They didn't see the contracts I was landing. They didn't see the late nights where my vision was blurring, but I knew I was onto something. Then 2 years ago, things changed. My company took off. I'm talking exponential growth. I went from eating ramen to dining at Michelin star restaurants. I moved from the shoebox to a luxury condo downtown. I bought my dream car. But here's the thing. I never told them. Why? Because I knew them. I knew that the moment they smelled money, the dynamic would shift. They wouldn't suddenly respect me. They would just want something from me. I didn't want their fake pride. I wanted to see if they could ever treat me with decency just because I was family, not because of what I could do for them. Spoiler alert, they couldn't. Which brings us to Thanksgiving, yesterday. I hadn't seen the extended family in 2 years. I'd been too busy, implying I was working odd jobs. When the invitation came from Aunt Linda, I almost deleted it. But something in me, maybe a morbid curiosity, made me accept. I prepared like I was going undercover. I left my Porsche in my garage and rented a 2016 Honda Civic with a dent in the bumper. I took off my Rolex and put on a cheap digital watch I found in a drawer. I wore a faded hoodie and generic jeans. I wanted to give them the full struggling artist experience. I wanted to see who they really were. Narrator voice. I had no idea just how bad it was going to get. I pulled up to Aunt Linda's massive suburban house. The driveway was filled with BMWs, Mercedes, and Lexuses. I parked my dented rental right in the middle, blocking my cousin Brad's new Tesla. As soon as I walked in, the atmosphere changed. You know that silence? That, "Oh, he's actually here," silence? Well, look who finally decided to join us, Aunt Linda shouted, holding a glass of wine that probably cost more than my weekly food budget back in the day. She looked me up and down, her eyes lingering on my faded hoodie. "Dressed for comfort, I see." "Yeah, sorry, Aunt Linda," I said, playing the part. "Laundry day." I made my way to the living room. Uncle Jerry was holding court, talking about the stock market. Brad was there, wearing a suit. Who wears a suit to Thanksgiving? And looking smug. "Hey man," Brad said, not getting up to shake my hand. "How's the,
computer stuff going?" "It's going," I said, grabbing a soda. "Paying the bills." Brad laughed, a short, sharp bark of a laugh. "Barely, from the looks of it. Hey, no shade, man. It's tough out there. Listen, my firm is looking for IT support guys. It's entry level, mostly fixing printers and resetting passwords. But it's a steady paycheck. Health benefits, too. I could put in a good word for you." The room went quiet. Everyone looked at me, waiting for me to be grateful, waiting for the charity case to bow down. I felt a flash of anger, hot and sharp, in my chest. I wanted to laugh in his face. I wanted to pull up my bank app and show him that I made more in interest last month than he makes in a year. But I pushed it down. "Thanks, Brad," I said softly. "I'll keep that in mind." "Just don't wait too long," he said, taking a sip of his bourbon. "They don't hire just anyone." Dinner was worse. We sat at the long mahogany table, the china clinking softly. The air was thick with the smell of rosemary and ego. They went around the table sharing what they were thankful for. Uncle Jerry was thankful for his boat. Aunt Linda was thankful for her kitchen renovation. Brad was thankful for his promotion to junior vice president. Then they got to me. "I'm thankful for my health," I said simply, "and for family." My Aunt Linda let out a sigh. "We're thankful for you too, honey. We just worry. You know, you're almost 30. It's time to stop chasing dreams and start building a life. Look at Brad." "Yeah," Uncle Jerry chimed in, pointing a fork at me. "You can't keep floating forever. When I was your age, I already had a mortgage and 2 kids. You need to grow up." "Is it true you're still renting?" my cousin Jessica asked, wrinkling her nose. "Yeah," I lied. "Rent is pretty high right now." "That's just throwing money away," Uncle Jerry grunted. "Financial illiteracy. That's the problem with your generation." I gripped my fork so hard my knuckles turned white. I was looking down at my plate, watching the gravy congeal. They don't know, I thought. They have no idea that I just closed on a building downtown. They have no idea I'm an angel investor and 3 of the abs on their phones right now. I took a deep breath. "I'm happy," I said, looking Uncle Jerry in the eye. "Happiness doesn't pay for retirement," he scoffed. "But hey, it's your life to waste." The rest of the dinner was a blur of backhanded compliments and unsolicited advice. By the time dessert came, pumpkin pie that tasted cardboard, I was done. I was physically and emotionally exhausted from the act. "I should get going," I said, standing up. "I have work early tomorrow." "Work?" Brad smirked. "On Black Friday? I guess freelancers don't get holidays, huh?" "Something like that," I said. I walked to the door, the sound of their laughter following me. I got into my dented rental car, backed out of the driveway, and drove away. As soon as I hit the highway, I let out a scream, a long, loud scream of frustration. It was over. I had survived. I hadn't cracked. But I knew I couldn't keep this up. I was done with the masquerade. I didn't want a dramatic confrontation at the dinner table. That's messy. That's emotional. I wanted something colder, something undeniable. When I got home to my penthouse, I made a phone call. I called my publicist. See, a major tech magazine, Think Big, front page of the industry news, had been asking to run a feature on me in my company's recent acquisition for weeks. I had been delaying it, wanting to keep a low profile. "Run it," I told her. "Run the story. Tomorrow morning." "Are you sure?" she asked. "I thought you wanted to wait until Q1. "No," I said, looking out at the city lights. "Tomorrow is perfect." And that brings us to this morning. At 8 a.m. sharp, the article went live. The headline wasn't subtle. "The Silent Titan, How This 29-Year-Old Dropout Built a $50 million Empire from His Bedroom." It had everything. My photo, looking sharp in a tailored suit, standing in my actual office, the valuation of my company, the details of the sale, the fact that I retained majority ownership. It took about 45 minutes for the news to filter down to the family group chat. First, it was my cousin Jessica. She sent a link to the group chat with just question mark.
Then Brad, is this real? Is this a joke? Then silence. 10 minutes of absolute radio silence. I imagine they were frantically Googling, clicking links, verifying sources. Watch them realize that the unemployed gamer they mocked over turkey dinner could buy and sell their entire existence 3 times over. Then the phone call started. Aunt Linda left a voicemail, her voice trembling, overly sweet. "Honey, we just saw the news. Oh my God, why didn't you tell us? We are so proud of you. We always knew you were special. Call me back, we should celebrate." Uncle Jerry texted. "Incredible news. You really showed us, huh?" "Hey, I've been looking into some investment opportunities for that capital. Let's grab lunch, my treat." And Brad, poor arrogant Brad, sent a text that just said, "Dude, what the F?" I haven't responded to a single one. I'm sitting here reading their messages, and I feel light. The weight of their judgment is gone, replaced by their desperate scrambling for my attention. They showed me exactly who they are yesterday. They showed me that their love is conditional. It's based on a title, on a paycheck, on a status symbol. When I was struggling, I was a burden, a joke. Now that I'm a titan, they're their pride and joy.
I took a screenshot of the group chat, the praise, the begging, the sudden change of heart. I saved it. Then, I did the most satisfying thing I've ever done in my life. I went to the group chat settings. I hit leave conversation. Then, I went to my contacts. Aunt Linda, block. Uncle Jerry, block. Brad, block. Jessica, block. I put my phone down on the glass table. The vibrating stopped. The silence returned. I sipped my coffee. Best cup I've ever had. So, am I the asshole for not telling my family about my success? Maybe. But, looking at that blocked list, I've never felt more successful in my life. Let me know in the comments. Would you have told them at the table? Or was the morning after reveal the ultimate revenge? And if you've ever had to deal with toxic family during the holidays, hit that subscribe button, because you are not alone. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go enjoy my unemployed life. Peace.